That was my declaration of my faith. I have never deviated from that.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
In 1980, December, I came into the knowledge and the belief that my teacher, Elijah Muhammad, was physically alive and had escaped a death plot that involved the government and hypocrites and devils. And on our first Savior's Day of this new dispensation, February 22nd, in 1981, I made it known in my lecture, Elijah Muhammad is alive. Wait now. After making that statement, I lost some ministers. The nationalist community that helped me walked away from me. How could that so-and-so say Elijah Muhammad is alive and we got a death certificate on him?
Come on, beloved. Go ahead.
But that did not deter me. I'm about to say something to help you all understand something about Jesus and about the Quran that you read and the Bible that you read. I said to the family of Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad, I'm willing to sit down and never speak again. I said, let's exhume the body. I said, he had a dentist here in Chicago and he had one in Mexico. And if that is he, I'll be quiet. You'll never hear from me again. Now, all these Negroes wanted to silence me, but they didn't want to accept the challenge. So I kept on preaching. My leader is alive. When a man steps out like that and says something unbelievable that he believes, he's either a damn fool or he knows what he's talking about. I'm rising. All my detractors are going down. I was in a little village in Mexico called Tepoztlan. the 17th of September in a vision-like experience. I climbed a mountain that I had climbed in reality several times. With me in that vision-like experience was Brother Jabril, who's here somewhere today.
Northwest part.
What you doing in the back? He's the one that told me he was alive. I said, this guy here. I said, he woke me up, but I think he got it all twisted. But I finally saw the truth. And I could never have done the things that I've done with God's help if I didn't believe that my teacher was alive. Because everything that I have done in 40 years, not one thing have I done that was not inspired by something he put in my head that at the proper time germinated.
Go ahead.
And that night, on that mountain, when we got to the top of it, it was lit. And a little UFO was coming like it was going to land on top of that mountain. And Jabril was very close to me in the experience. And I said, come on, Jabril. And a voice from that little wheel said, not him, just you. So he stepped back and I walked out, thinking that the wheel was going to land. 3 legs came out from it, but it never came over the mountain. And a beam of light came out of that wheel and drew me up into it on a beam of light. Now you can say, nigga, you crazy, you alive. But I'm not known to be alive. And I'm going to show you how the white man respects my knowledge. I sat beside a man. I couldn't see him. He was the pilot. He took off at a terrific speed, and I knew he was taking me to that great wheel that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us of, that Ezekiel saw 595 BC, a wheel in the middle of a wheel. You sing the song, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, coming to carry me home. This is real. And the man knew, who was driving the little plane, that I was frightened to see something that huge in the sky a half a mile by a half a mile. So he maneuvered that craft in such a way where I wouldn't see the magnitude of it, and then came into a tunnel. Now I'm inside the wheel. He got up, opened the door on his side, came around, opened on my side, then opened a door and let me into a room.
Go ahead, Muhammad, tell it.
I saw a scroll that was rolled down with cursive writing on it. And as I tried to read it, I heard the voice of a man as a student that I had listened to for 20-some odd years. And when he spoke to me, listen to what he said. He rebuked me for something that I had gotten involved with that's in his life. And it frightened me. And he rebuked me because he said, I didn't call you up here to talk to you about that. That let me know he approved. I'll say it again. That let me know he approved. Then he said, President Reagan,
Come on.
in early September, met with his Joint Chiefs of Staff to plan a war. He said, I want you to hold a press conference and make known their plans and tell them that you got it from me, Elijah Muhammad, on the wheel. Now he wants me to tell the enemy where he is and the kind of power that he has. See, I want to introduce you to the real Jesus today. Look at this now. The 17th of September. To my Muslim family in the 17th surah of the Holy Quran. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had a night journey. He was in the tent. And everybody that was guarding him know he didn't leave the tent. But in the morning he told them where he had been. That a fast-moving barrage took him from Mecca to Jerusalem. And then took him all the way up to the inner sanctum of God. And the last person that he saw before he went in with God was Jibreel. Not him. Just you. Not him. Just you, Muhammad. And when Muhammad went in that wheel, or that special place, 1,400 years ago, he was told to teach the people prayer 50 times a day. And that's all that God said to him. 50 prayers a day. He came out, he ran into Moses, according to it. Moses said, what did he say? He said, we got to pray 50 times a day, according to the history. He said, no, you got to go back and talk to him because 50 times a day is a lot of prayers. Especially the way we pray. So he goes back in and troubles the God. And the God, okay, reduce the number. He goes back out and Moses said, what do you say now? He said, that's still too many. So finally, he went back and God told him 5 prayers a day. Each prayer, the value of 10. Each prayer, the value of 10. Well, I went in. He didn't talk to me about prayer. He told me what to tell the people that Reagan was doing. Come to something now, y'all pay attention. Then you can call me a liar, but you will never say that what I'm telling you, I can bank my life on it before too long. You gonna bear with me. Farrakhan is not who you think he is. A little bit more. And he said, I want you to hold a press conference. Make known their plans. Listen to what he said. He said, you've got one more thing to do. And when you have completed that, you may come again to the wheel. And I will permit you to see me face to face.
Come on.
And he dismissed me. I got in that wheel. It went up to a terrific height and turned so I could look down on that wheel. And it looked like a city in the sky. And you all got it in the Bible, but you don't necessarily understand.
Come on.
There was a New Jerusalem. A New Jerusalem that came down from heaven. Not something that the old Jerusalem. A new one.
New song. Come on.
Look at the cubits of that new one and measure it. When I got back, the vision, when I finished and did the press conference, the experience was over. The next morning I awakened and I couldn't remember nothing. I went on about my little business in Mexico. And on the next day, which was the 19th, my wife was in bed. I was saying my prayers a little late. But while I was saying my prayers, the whole room started shaking. I looked at the ceiling and it looked like it was water. I said, this is an earthquake. I ran to the window and I saw it was throwing the water up out of the pool. And I was looking for some place to hide. The bed was already to the floor, so I couldn't get up under there. And Khadija looked like, there wasn't nothing fazing her. So finally it stopped. And we drove, or I was driven, to Cuernavaca, where Mother Tainetta Muhammad has her home. And as I walked up the stairs to her house, to the right at the top of the stairs is a glass window where that was her kitchen. And that's when it came back to me, my experience. I told her, Mother Tainetta, and my wife, my experience. But Mother Tainetta saw me, and she later writes that it looked like he was in a stupor. she didn't use that word, but that he wasn't fully cognizant of the import of what had happened to him. And so we left Cuernavaca and flew to Phoenix because I had just finished a speech in Los Angeles. Over 19,000 people in the arena. And the Jews were walking around on the outside with signs saying, "Who do you want? Farrakhan. How do you want him?" Dead. When I finished in Los Angeles, I was then getting ready to go to New York. This very month, October, the 7th day, Elijah Muhammad's birthday, we were establishing that day in the nation in remembrance of him. And Jabril met me at the airport. And while we were in the car driving, I told him my experience. He said he needed to stop right away to the convenience store. And he went in the convenience store not knowing that I was behind. I seen him walking down the aisle, walking behind me. And he threw his hands up in the air like this. Like the words that I spoke that he was alive had now been verified. And when he turned around to look at me, I saw the tears in his eyes. And I guess we embraced him. We got ready to go to New York. His dear wife at that time was in the art and culture community, and she was like a makeup specialist. In New York, the city was hot. I mean, Mayor Koch, a Jewish man, said that Farrakhan was a black Hitler, a devil. And the Jews were marching around Madison Square Garden. Who do you want? Farrakhan. How do you want him? I'm still alive. Brother and sister, Jabril and I were under disguise when we got in the plane coming to Hartford Springfield Airport. So we were going to be picked up and driven into New York under the radar because they were at the airports watching for me. Now he and I walked up to the counter and just bought 2 tickets under assumed names. Because in those days, you could do that. Not today. So while I'm sitting next to my brother on the plane, he said, "Minister, could you go over your experience again?" He pulled out his tape recorder, and I went over it. But as I started going over it, I began to weep. And I told him something happened to me while I was up there. And I made a motion like how you about to stick a needle in somebody and you rub the the flesh to get it deadened a little and then pop that needle. I said, they put something inside of me. And I don't know what it is, but I know they did something to me. Now all of you, some of us are spooky.
Come on.
I understand, but I ain't spooky.
No, sir.
This thing really went down. And look at this now. As I'm crying because I can't understand what happened to me. Oh Lord, the time is running. No, I can't do that. I got to finish it.
Yes.
You know, this experience is like the Quran says, Allah is He who takes men's souls by night. And those on whom the decree of death has passed, He keeps them. But those on whom the decree of death has not passed, He sends them back to seek the bounty of their Lord. Now look, remember when you were a little person and Mama was teaching you how to pray? She said, say it like this: now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Now you may not believe this, but when God takes a soul of somebody that He's given a mission to, He writes on that soul and sends him back. You all been watching me now for 40 years. I stand up in front of an audience. You don't see me turning a lot of notes, doing nothing. It just comes like I started today. Look, man. That God did something to me.
In the book, too.
In the Quran, on that night of majesty, did the Quran come to him in one night or over 23 years? Yeah. But look at what the Quran says. This was the night, not in which 5 verses of the Quran were revealed. This is the night in which the Holy Quran was revealed. So God could put the whole book in a man, and under right circumstances, what He put in starts coming out as a human word. It took me 4 years to find out who the war was with. I mean, to deliver the announcement. I was traveling in Africa on a world tour. And the last country that I was in was a French-speaking country. Do you remember? Benin. And I told all the Muslims and my family, you go home. Because it has come to me that the war is against Gaddafi and Libya. And I'm going to Libya to warn him. Brother Khalid was by my side. And Brother Khalid said, Brother Farrakhan, let me go and do this, because I have not done anything significant yet. And I would rather be the one to go to jail than you. And I said, Khalid, that's a noble gesture. But I am more well known than you. So if they arrest me for traveling to Libya, which there was a $50,000 fine and 10 years in prison for anyone that went to Libya. You know, I have to tell you, your brother ain't no punk. That are afraid of what the white man can do to you, and you punk out on your people, there's a punishment coming to you for cowardice. I went on to Libya, and that night, in my hotel room, Gaddafi's governmental staff was in the room, and I told them my experience. They jumped out of that room so quick, they went right to Gaddafi, because I told them America's going to bomb. They're going to bomb the airport. They're going to destroy the project, the water project. And the next day, 86 nations were in Tripoli. And Brother Gaddafi said, I want you to speak to the people before me. And right from Tripoli, I told the Attorney General of the United States government, a warning to leave my brother alone. Gaddafi took the warning, got his planes out of Tripoli into the Sudan. That time, he heeded my warning. Because I'm not warning on my own. I was in Libya when the Libyan people shot down the first plane that came over from the Gulf of Suez. An American aircraft carrier was in the Gulf. And the fight was on. Then it stopped because the wheel showed up. I want you to hear me. But see, we got a weapon so terrible. America cannot defend herself against what my God has. And I'm saying it like that so you know that when the police got that microphone and say, 1013, back up, officer in distress. I got back up. Elijah Muhammad told me there'll be two of us back here. Allah and myself. Yes, he told me that before he left me. But if he was dead, I know couldn't say that and mean it. So when I found out he was alive, then everything he had told me made sense. So I think I should bring this to, well, near a conclusion. From Reagan to Trump, I want you to listen. It's been 32 years. 32 years. And every president, including Barack Obama, has had war with some part of the Muslim world. But the thing that I said when I made the announcement, the war was on two fronts. It was a Muslim nation over there and a tiny Muslim nation here that represents a people that are under assault. So I said, the war is against black people, particularly black youth.
Yes, sir.
And the war is on the world of Islam. Okay. Did you know that when Nixon was president, according to Haldeman's testimony, Haldeman was in the inner circle of Nixon. And Haldeman said, there are two things that Nixon feared. The anti-war left and the blacks. Listen to what I said. The anti-war left, that's a specific element in the white community. But when it came to us, it was the whole people that he feared. So when the white man fears you, he makes moves. I warned us back then in '89 that the war on drugs was a war on black people. I could be very specific, but time is running. And finally, just a few years ago, they admitted that the war on drugs was a war on our black youth. Now I'm going to fast forward 32 years now, and we come to Donald Trump. My God. Look, y'all ready? Trump is a very special human. Before he was elected, I told them, if you all elect him, he will take you to hell on a rocket ship. And the war on black is intensifying. The 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel, just 32 years after my more than a vision experience, a white man out the window. Got 47 guns that he got from his houses in Vegas. And he fitted them out that an automatic weapon would be made into a machine gun. And from the 32nd floor, he started shooting. Oh man, this was pretty rough. And when I saw that, I said, Father, there's something you're trying to tell me. Because the first part of October, there was an earthquake in Mexico City, like the one 32 years ago. On September, earlier than the 19th, was an 8.1, the same magnitude that it was 32 years ago, that brought my experience back to my remembrance. 32 years later, an earthquake. And then on the same day of the earthquake in Mexico City, it struck again near Puebla and Cuernavaca, 7.1. I said, Father, are you telling me something that I must do? The president met already with his military general. And when he came out, it was the 9th of September, the last meeting he had with his generals. I know what he plans. And I will reveal in a few days. In the right place at the right time. I want Mr. Trump to know. Playing with a fire, buddy. But this time, it'll be the end of America as you know it. Now, wait a minute. All you that think you got hope in this, you better start revamping your thinking. Because it's time now. Prophet Muhammad taught you prayer. But Elijah Muhammad says, it is better to teach separation than to teach prayer. Because you can pray all you want, living with the devil. And when you walk out your house and turn on the TV, he's there influencing you and your children. So your prayer that you said at Fajr is ineffective by Salatul Zuhr. We'll never be the type of people that God intends until we are separated from this enemy. Preachers, you've been preaching about judgment. Now you preach prosperity. You've been judgment is not in your preaching. To my Muslim imams, sheikhs, brothers, you really want to get along with these people. I understand. You want to forgive them. I don't understand that. But I want you to know something. There are white people right now who see the end, and they want absolution from the evil consequences of what they have done. Many of them, the younger ones in particular, it's like this. The Bible puts it so clear. Prepare slaughter for the children, for the iniquities of their father. Even to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Now you are fathers and mothers in here. Life is short. But because life is short, there's no reason for you to live it carelessly, foolishly, and wicked. Because your life and the way you live it sets up good. If you live your life good for those whom you leave behind. In the Janazah prayer service of the Muslims, in the prayer, while we are praying for the life of the one that is gone, we say, "Oh Allah, do not make us to fall into a trial after him or her, and do not deprive us of his or her reward." What you don't understand is when you do good, good lays up consequences for your offspring. And when you do evil, you sentence your offspring. Now some of you in here like cocaine. And others like weed.
Come on,
This is the weed killer. Smoking family. What? You don't think I have family that smoke weed? You got family that smoke weed. Weed is a big thing. But what he's teaching us in a scientific way of what the government of America is doing to destroy your future with God. By taking the weed in its natural state, which has great properties to be used properly. But the enemy is weaponizing weed with chemicals that perform lobotomies. They used to put a needle or ice pick in certain parts of the brain. It's called the amygdala, right? Amygdala. Yeah, thank you, brother. And my brother has made so many people angry with him. But I want you to know something. He has to teach what God has shown him to warn you of the consequences of your actions. He's pointing out members of the Jewish community who have been involved in the science of weaponizing weed.
War.
I just want you to say, this is my brother. If I were you, I'd let him preach.
Yeah.
And if I were you, because we will hurt you if you try to hurt a brother that's trying to help you to save your life. Do you know this enemy is weaponizing mosquitoes? This man is going there to destroy our future because he knows that God is after you. I'm going to close now. The enemy wants to keep you from being accepted by God. And with these drugs, he's making homosexuals. Imagine one drug. On TV they say, well, a male's talking to males, if you after taking this begin developing breasts, stop. Then they give you another chemical, they say, oh, it's a great medicine. But listen, if you get thoughts of suicide, stop. So you mean chemicals can so influence your process of thought? Chemicals can so affect the amygdala and the moral part of your brain that you don't know right from wrong no more. The Holy Quran tells you the devil makes evil fair seeming. So I think I should wrap this up with two things. And I'll be back in a few weeks in Washington. Because I want to open up my experience to Donald Trump. And let him know what God has shown the servant of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Colin Kaepernick took a knee. That brother was not trying to disrespect the flag. He was disturbed over the police killings of black and brown people outside of the law of justice. And he wanted to draw attention to it. Because all of the evil that we have suffered, we suffered it under the Confederate flag, and we suffered it mostly under the so-called American flag. So, Colin took a knee on September 1st, 2016, when the flag was presented and the national anthem was played. It has generated much controversy. But did you know that there's a code on how to respect the American flag? The Congressional Research Service, CRS, prepared a report for members of Congress in 2009 on the federal law relating to the U.S. flag and its display, which was enacted by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, president, in 1942. The CRS report says the flag code is designed for the use of such civilian groups or organizations as may not be required to conform with regulations promulgated by one or more executive departments of the federal government. You don't have to conform. And there's no punishment according to the code. Let me go on. Section 4 of the flag code covers the Pledge of Allegiance. Congress has, by U.S. Code Statute 36, yes, I want to get it right, designated the national anthem as the Star-Spangled Banner and set out the proper conduct during its presentation. Listen to this. No penalty or punishment is specified in the flag code. Lastly, the flag code is not a mandate of federal law. It does not proscribe conduct, but is merely declaratory and advisory. Meaning, it does not give punishment